Hello, and welcome to another Rouge unit of the Week. And today we're taking a look at the M-42 45mm anti-tank gun. The Soviet 45mm is definitely one of the most common anti-tank guns during the war, with over tens of thousands being produced starting in the early 1930s. Funnily enough, the very early models of these anti-tank guns are actually based off the Pak-36, using the same carriage and gun shield that the Pak-36 used. It'd be multiple models such as the 1932, the 1937, and the running game being represented is the 1942 model, all of them having slight differences. Now, even though it may be considered a pop gun and didn't really have the armor penetration firepower to deal with the more heavily armored German tanks, it still had its place on the battlefield due to the vast amount that the Soviets had. They could pretty much afford to give any single sort of formation a 45mm anti-tank gun, which, yes, it can't kill as heavy tanks, but there's also a lot of lightly armored vehicles that need to be destroyed. And also, the Soviets were trying to upgrade to the more heavily armed ZIS-2 and ZIS-3 anti-tank guns, but just due to the amount of ammunition and just the amount of 45mm they had, they just kind of kept on producing them all the way till 1945, because they worked. In-game, the M-42 45mm is a 35-point anti-tank gun, available to literally every single Soviet/Polish division in the game, without exception. It's also available to quite a few German and Finnish divisions as well, and it has one weapon. And that weapon, surprise surprise, being the M42. You have 2 shorter shots, 4 APCR shells, and 46 regular AP shells. The regular AP is pretty decent, with 75mm penetration and 5 damage on penetration, while the APCR goes to a whopping 100mm but only 1 damage on penetration, meaning there's much less chance of making tank go kaboom when round go through tank. It's not a super powerful anti-tank gun, of course, because it is much more on the lighter end, but it has pretty decent accuracy of roughly 40% with regular AP shells. But the main thing, it has a very nice fire rate of 12 rounds a minute, though funnily enough the APCR shells actually shoot slower at only 10 rounds a minute. If we pop down to the miscellaneous stats, it's a 4-man crew with good optics, good stealth, and light cargo space. In battle, the M42 is an anti-tank gun you're going to be using whether you like it or not, because it's so bloody prevalent. It's in pretty much half the divisions in the game, I'd say, in some form or another. So, is it any good considering that it's so common? The answer is yes. For what it is, it's pretty damn decent. Surprise surprise, it's a light anti-tank gun, and it mainly deals with light tanks and lightly armoured vehicles. Can't kill infantry, so you have no high explosive shells. You're not missing out on much, as a 45mm HE gun is pretty pathetic. So it kills light tanks, and it does it rather well. But it could also kill medium tanks, surprise surprise. With the APCR cells, it gives it a little bit of extra lethality, like if there's a Stug at slightly longer range and want to have a chance of killing it, you got 4 of those shots. I'd usually recommend turning those APCR shells off, as AI for some reason likes using them first compared to the regular AP, even against lightly armoured vehicles. I don't know, it's just a little bit silly, and you want to be saving those APCR shells for heavier targets. And even if heavier targets do come by, the M42 still has its place, because it shoots so goddamn fast. At 12 rounds a minute, this thing, well, it's not a machine gun, but it's like a semi-automatic rifle. You can put down so much river fire on Tigers and Panthers, not enough to stress them out per se, but you can get critical hits still. You can maybe detrack him, knock out an optic, injure the driver. There's a lot of things you still can do against more heavily armoured opponents. And for 35 points, you can't really go wrong for delaying a Panther push. And heck, if you get a side shot, a tank's a tank. It's probably going to go kaboom. You also have pretty good availability with these things, especially with the Soviet divisions. You usually get 6 7 A phase at 1-star veterancy base. And taking these with 2-star veterancy, honestly, is also a pretty good choice. That increases your fire rate by quite a bit. So yeah, it's a good anti-tank gun for what it is. It ain't gonna be blowing up King Tigers, But hey, if it gets a rear shot, it might. And well, I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another Range unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.